What's going on, and welcome back. Thank you guys for clicking on the video. Today we're doing a quick little 400-mile review of my 2024 FE450. Just want to start off by saying I absolutely love this bike, and I think it's the best bike I've ever ridden. Actually, I know for a fact it's the best bike I've ever ridden. I want to talk about some things I love about it, some things I don't really like about it, and then I'll give you guys kind of some extra thoughts. But since we're out here in the beautiful desert of Nevada, I figured what better spot, baby, to do a little review. All right, proof right there. 416 miles on this bad boy and a little over 18 hours. 18.4. So yeah, this is my 2024 Husqvarna FE450. This bike has been rock solid reliable over these last 400 miles. I have had so many smiles and had so much joy from this bike. Can't even begin to explain. This is definitely a bike, if you have the opportunity to pick up at a year-end sale, you guys should do it. It is amazing. If you can get it for $7,000-8,000 out the door with some of these year-end sales at dealerships, oh, you guys have won the lottery. I paid full price for this. I bought it in the beginning of the year, and well, halfway through the year, and I don't regret it at all. This bike is totally worth that premium asking price. It's so good. I want to talk first about all the things I love about this bike. Starting off with the things I love about this bike, number one has to be the fuel injection. It is so crisp. It is so well tuned from the factory. You don't need an ECU to run this. If you're going to run the stock pipe and not do any power mods, this bike is perfectly fueled straight from the factory. It's awesome. It doesn't miss a beat. I haven't had any flameouts that weren't my own fault and fatiguing clutch fingers. It runs rock steady. It's awesome. Going up, some pretty gnarly hills up here, you just grab that throttle and it goes. There's no hesitation. There's no bog. It is just, you grab it, it's there. And then you keep pulling and it keeps going. It's awesome. There's so much power in this bike. It's a 450 and it runs like a 450. Map 1's a little soft, but Map 2, you can feel the increased throttle response for sure. Now that I've ridden it more and gotten more time on the bike, there is definitely a noticeable difference between Map 1 and Map 2. Just with that quicker throttle response, it's great for the fast flowy stuff. Like when I'm out here and I'm ripping 2-track out to get where I want to go hit the single track, oh man, I can rail the berms and you just come out of that corner and just get on it. Oh boy, it's so fun. So I absolutely love the fuel injection on this bike. Another thing I really love is how good it comes from stock, like well equipped. KTM says they're ready to race and stuff. I agree that this is ready to race. Like, maybe not race. For your average Joe rider who just wants to go out and be a weekend warrior and not race or do anything, this bike is perfect. It comes with a skid plate. It got all the protection you need, except for radiator guards. That's the only thing I wish they'd actually put on. But I have not had to buy much extra for this bike. I've owned it for, let's say, 7 months, and I haven't had to put much money into it besides maintenance. And I switched the tires and the moose and the tube. So I put mooses and the tires on, and then I also put on radiator guards right there. I did the Enduro Engineering radiator guards just for some added protection. Still running the stock skid plate, which is awesome. The stock hand guards are okay. The only thing I noticed that I had to do was actually during a race, these kept hitting branches and then it would like rotate forward. So what I've done, let's see if you can see. Right here, there's a zip tie. Mine didn't come factory with that, so I just put those on. And now they don't bend, which is perfect. Works great. But yeah, so for tires, I went in the rear. I did the IRC VE33S, which is awesome, great proven tire, perfect all-around tire. And then I did the Bridgestone M59 up front. I'd never ridden that tire. Actually, I'd never ridden either of these two tires. Knew the back came really well recommended. The front I had to do a lot of research on, and I just kind of decided to pull the trigger on that. The Dirt Bike Channel guy was actually kind of helped me make that decision. Other than that, I haven't put any money into it. I haven't had to buy any parts. And if you know me, I love to build things. I love to modify things. And I just haven't with this. The only thing I'm going to redo soon is I got to get the suspension resprung for my weight because I'm a big boy, 6'4", 250 pounds. These stock springs, they do all right, but I've had to crank the compression up a little bit to kind of keep me from just slamming, bottoming down, which is kind of a catch-22 because it makes the small chop really rough and it kind of hurts. But the bigger hits, I don't break the bike. So it's a trade-off, right? We all got to make trade-offs. So yeah, let's move on to things that I don't really love about this bike. The only two things I don't really love about this bike are the brakes and the clutch. The brakes are the Brake Tech brand brakes. They're just under Brembos. I wish they had put the Brembos on here. I could, in theory, switch those out. They do good enough to, like, as long as you're not going to be competitively racing, you're going to be all right. Like, if you're just out having fun at local races or you're just dicking off out in the mountains, these will be fine. But I feel like sometimes I do want a little bit more stopping power from the brakes. Not all the time. I'd rate those brakes at like a 70%. They'd get a solid C for me. They're good enough, but they could be a lot better. And the clutch. This is the first bike I've ever ridden that has the bevel. I think it's called a bevel washer or dome. I'm used to the 6-spring clutches on the old Yamis. And those were great because you could start that bike up and just start riding. And with this one, you have to do a full like heat cycle to get in there, and then you can start riding. Because if you just go and you press the button, you put it in gear, the clutch is gonna grab. I don't know if that's specific to this bike or if that's for all bikes, but you know, it's good. It's not my favorite, so that's getting a dock for me. I love this bike. I'm so glad I bought it. This is going to stick with me for a very, very long time. I'm super stoked. I've gone through 5 bikes in the last 4 or 5 years, and this one, instant first love. Like, this thing is not going to ever get sold. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Check out some other videos of the riding on this bike if you're really interested. Give us a subscribe, like, comment, leave some feedback. I appreciate it. Thank you guys, and I hope you enjoyed the review.